Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the final Bracketology update of this 2018-2019 college basketball season. I am freaking pumped. Today is Selection Sunday. I'm making this video at 11:04 a.m. as you can see right there. In 7 hours, I will be watching the selection show with my boy JRed52. We will be seeing where the teams will be going. We'll both be recording our live reactions and it'll be going up on our channel. And then we'll both have the NCAA tournament prediction video. So hopefully you guys say subscribe for me and to him for that. I'm so freaking excited for that, and I just want to say thank you guys for all the support that you've been giving me on my recent videos and just in general. We are now at 3,031 subscribers, which is just absolutely crazy for me to think about. At this time last year, I was around like 750 subscribers, so the growth has been absolutely crazy. I can't thank you guys enough, but enough of that. Let's get into the bracketology. So Duke is now the #1 overall seed after winning the ACC championship with Zion back. They look to be unstoppable. Virginia is now the other #1 seed. They'll be playing in the Louisville Regional, which myself and my dad will be going to. I don't know if I'll be vlogging it or not. It just kind of depends. I don't want it to be too awkward there with my dad vlogging, but we'll see what happens. I'd love to see Kentucky play in Louisville, but right now they are not projected to play in Louisville. That's Virginia, Tennessee, Texas Tech, and Purdue, which will still be some pretty cool games to see, especially if there's a couple upset picks in there, but you never know. We'll see what happens with that. And North Carolina, after losing in the semifinals, they actually moved up to the other #1 seed instead of Kentucky, and they were playing in the Midwest Regional, and then Gonzaga is the 1 seed over here in the West. But a couple teams that I just wanted to point out that I think could be sleepers and stuff like that. One right here, #9 Seton Hall. I do not like them being paired up with Duke in the second round, but we were watching them play in the Big East Championship against Villanova. They've been on an absolute tear recently. They almost beat Villanova yesterday. They've beaten Marquette, I think, like twice or something like that over the course of the season. I think they did beat Villanova during the regular season, too. They'll be a team to watch out for. There's a first four game right there between Temple and TCU. I don't think TCU should be in the field. Temple, I think, is classic bubble team. Then over here, we got #12 Murray State with John Morant, projected to be the #3 overall pick. They could be a sleeper team if he goes off like he did against Belmont. That was a great game to watch, the Ohio Valley Conference Championship. Villanova, as you can see, is now up to a 5 after beating Seton Hall for the Big East Championship. Then we have the other playing game right there for the at-large teams. #11 Arizona State versus #11 St. John's. Honestly, don't know who would win that matchup. Both teams are not very good this year. Then we got Ron Hunter leading Georgia State back to the NCAA tournament. Won't have his son RJ Hunter like back in 2014 whenever he hit that big shot, but oh well. Then down here in the Midwest Regional, we have Kansas State now a 5 after losing in the semifinals as the 1 seed in the Big 12 tournament. Mississippi State is now down to a 6 after just pooping the bed against Tennessee. Then we have a new to the field team, Oregon. They were not projected to be in the field, but they were able to beat Washington by 20 or something like that in the Pac-12 championship last night, so they may be a team to watch out for. I may have them moving on. We'll see what happens with that. They weren't even supposed to be here. And then over here in the West Regional, we have Iowa State remaining a 5 after winning the Big 12 championship over Kansas. I mean, that game was never really too close. Iowa State was in control for the entire game. I think that Iowa State should be a 4 seed, but that's just me. We'll kind of see what happens with that. Virginia Tech is the 4 seed in that regional. Buffalo moves up from a 7 to a 6 after disposing of Bowling Green. I won't say destroying because it was like 74-71 with 3 minutes to go, but then Buffalo pulled away and won by like 13. Then we got Wofford as a 7, and then Kentucky as the 2 after after losing to Tennessee, which congratulations to Tennessee. That was a really good game to watch. Tennessee just outperformed Kentucky there at the end. Sad to see as a Kentucky fan, but what can you do? And then we'll go ahead and check the bubble right here. I don't think there'll be any more bid thieves. It just kind of depends on what happens in the A-10 championship game. Whoever wins that between St. Bonaventure and St. Louis will act as a bid thief, even though we already know that there's going to be one from that conference. Last 4 buys are VCU, Oklahoma, Florida, and Ohio State. Last 4 in the play-in games were Arizona State, Temple, St. John's, and TCU. First 4 out. These couple teams were out because of those bid thieves, and especially NC State because of Oregon. First 4 out are NC State, Belmont, Texas, and Indiana. Do not see Texas and Indiana getting it at all. Then the same with these next 4 out teams with Alabama, Clemson, Lipscomb, and UNC Greensboro. Furman has fallen even off of the next 4 out list, so that's kind of sucks for them, but oh well. They need to play in a better conference. So, as you guys know, every time there's a bracketology update that I do, and I'll be doing this for the NCAA tournament video tonight, I go on Bracketify.com, make an interactive bracket for you guys to go ahead and vote. This one will be the final one right there, the March 17th Bracketology. I'll be putting the link to vote for this in the description, so make sure you check that out, click that link, and let's go ahead and get into these picks. So at first, we have Duke versus the winner of, let's see, we got to click on that first. There we go. We have, once it loads, all right, perfect. We have the Duke versus the winner of Iona and NC Central. I want to say that's just an easy pick, but we saw what happened with Virginia and UMBC last year whenever that was the first pick that I made in my tournament video, and of course it had to be wrong, but Duke is definitely going to win that game between Iona and NC Central. Go ahead and pick them again. Then up next in the 8 versus 9 matchup, we have Washington versus Seton Hall. As you guys know, I think Seton Hall is going to be a really good sleeper team in this tournament. That's why I'm picking them to move on here against Washington. Then Auburn, I think, will beat St. Mary's with their 3-point barrage. Kansas will beat Northeastern. Then we got Marquette beating the winner of Temple and TCU, which I think would be Temple. Then we have LSU beating Harvard, Nevada beating Oklahoma, and then Michigan beating Montana. So I didn't go with all chalk, but basically I did because Seton Hall is just a 9 over an 8, so I don't really consider that to be a huge upset. Kind of went with all chalk there, but I think that's what's going to happen. Then we got Gonzaga beating Gardner-Webb. That one's pretty obvious too. Syracuse, I think, with Tyus Battle will beat Minnesota. Iowa State will beat New Mexico State. Virginia Tech will beat UC Irvine. Buffalo will beat Ohio State. And we got Florida State finally as a 3 seed. I think they definitely deserve to be a 3 seed over Purdue. They did put up a really good fight against Duke, but Duke just pulled away in the second half. I mean, Duke is a superior team, but Florida State hung with them. And we got Wofford beating Utah State and Kentucky beating Abilene Christian. Then we have Virginia beating the winner of Fairleigh Dickinson and Prairie View A&M. I don't know who's going to win that matchup, but it doesn't matter. They could beat Virginia. Virginia's the only team to ever lose at 16 seed. But we'll see what happens with that. Then I think UCF will beat Baylor as a 9 over 8 upset pick right there. Then I'm going to have my first true upset of the tournament. We have John Morant and Murray State upsetting the defending national champions in Villanova. Villanova's has lost 9 games this season, and they lost to Furman. We know that they can lose to a not as good of a team, and I think John Morant can put them on to the second round. I think they get the victory there. Then we have Purdue beating St. Bonaventure, Maryland losing to the winner of Arizona State and St. John's. I think in the last 3 or 4 tournaments, the winner of a play-in game has also won in the first round. I think that this will be the place where it happens. I like Arizona State beating St. John's and then beating Maryland. Then we have Texas Tech beating Georgia State, Cincinnati beating VCU, and then Tennessee beating Bradley. We got North Carolina beating North Dakota State, which is where Carson Wentz went. Ole Miss pulling off another 9 over 8 over Iowa. I'm going to go with another upset pick here. Liberty as the 12 seed over the number 1 seed in the Big 12 tournament, Kansas State. Kansas State will be without Dean Wade, so that's going to suck for them. And I really like Liberty. They really impressed me in the game against Lipscomb for I think it was the Atlantic Sun Championship. I like Liberty moving on there. Then Wisconsin, I think, will beat Vermont. Then Oregon will pull off the 11 over 6 upset over Mississippi State. Houston will beat Northern Kentucky. Louisville will beat Florida in a rematch of the Sugar Bowl. And then we have Michigan State beating Colgate. Then for a spot in the Sweet 16, we got Duke beating Seton Hall. Auburn, I think, will lose to Kansas. As much as I want to pick Auburn right there, I think Kansas gets the job done. I want to pick Kansas to lose before the Sweet 16, but that matchup didn't favor that. I think Kansas beats Auburn. Then we got Marquette with Marcus Howard pulling off the upset here over the 3 seed LSU. Honestly, in my NCAA tournament actual prediction video, I highly doubt I'll have LSU moving on to the Sweet 16 just because they'll be missing their coach and that they lost in the first round of the SEC, or their first game of the SEC tournament without him, so I don't think they'll be able to do much without him. Then we got Michigan beating Nevada. Gonzaga, I think, will beat Tyus Battle in Syracuse. Then we have Iowa State, I think, will beat Virginia Tech. Not Kentucky, but Florida State will beat Buffalo. And then we have Kentucky beating Wofford. Then I think that Virginia will beat UCF, though I'd like to see them pull off the upset there. Then I'm going to go with Purdue beating Murray State. I think Carson Edwards and Matt Harms get the job done. Then we have Texas Tech beating the winner of Arizona State and St. John's. Then Tennessee will beat Cincinnati. Then we have North Carolina beating Ole Miss with Kermit Davis. I'm going to go with another upset pick here. I'm going to have Liberty going on to the Sweet 16 as a 12 seed over Wisconsin. Wisconsin, if Ethan Happ gets in trouble, they get in trouble. And then we're going to have another upset pick right here. We got 11 seed Oregon beating Houston. Houston only has 2 losses on the entire season. Oregon probably has like 12 or 13, but I like them winning this matchup there. And then I like Michigan State beating Louisville. Then for a spot in the Elite Eight, I kind of fumbled that right there. Duke, I think, will beat Kansas, the 1/4. And then Michigan will beat Marquette in a battle of the two teams that start with an M. Then Gonzaga will beat Iowa State. Kentucky will beat Florida State. Virginia, I think, will fall to Purdue. I'm moving Purdue on as the 4 seed over the 1, getting the upset pick. And then we got Tennessee beating Texas Tech. Then North Carolina, as much as I want them to lose to the 12 seed Liberty, that ain't happening. North Carolina's moving on. Same with Michigan State over the 11 seed Oregon. Then for a spot in the Final Four, Duke and Michigan. As much as I'd want to see Michigan with Charles Matthews pull off the upset there, Duke is definitely winning that matchup. Then Gonzaga and Kentucky. If Kentucky's going to be paired with our number 1 seed to pull off the upset, I think it's going to be Gonzaga, and I'm moving Kentucky on as the 2 seed to the Final Four. Then we have Purdue and Tennessee. I like Tennessee moving on there. They impressed me against Kentucky. And then I think that North Carolina will beat Michigan State, which sets up an ACC versus SEC Final Four matchup on both sides of the bracket. Up first, we have Duke and Kentucky. As much as I want to pick Kentucky to win, it's not going to be 34-point blowout, but I think that Duke is the more talented team, and I think Duke gets the victory there. And Tennessee and North Carolina, as much as I want to pick Tennessee to move on, I think North Carolina also gets the victory there, setting up the 4th matchup between these two teams, the second one with Zion there for the entire game. I'm going to go with what happened in the last one with Zion there, a full-string Duke. I think Duke gets the national championship over North Carolina. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe with post notifications turned on for the NCAA tournament predictions itself later today. Make sure you subscribe to JRed52. We'll be watching the selection show and doing the bracket stuff with him too, so make sure you do that. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all later.